Rick was a sheriff's deputy. One day he went out searching for gas for his car, but the country had already fallen, infected by a disease that made the dead rise, turning them into flesh-eating zombies. At the gas station, the sign read, "No gas." As Rick turned to leave, he heard a noise. A little girl stood behind him. He called out, ready to help. But when she raised her face, her pale eyes and rotten mouth told the truth. She was a walker. She charged at him, hungry for flesh. Rick had no choice. He drew his gun and shot her in the head. The scene cuts. Rick and his partner Shane drove, talking about life. Rick confessed his marriage was falling apart. His wife no longer listened, no longer cared. He told Shane her last words that morning. "I wonder if sometimes you even care about us." Before he could process it, a call came in. Backup needed. They rushed to the scene, set up a roadblock, and waited. A speeding car crashed through and flipped. Gunmen spilled out, firing at the deputies. Rick was hit in the crossfire. As Shane rushed to him, a third shooter appeared and shot Rick in the back. Rick collapsed, and everything went dark. When Rick finally opened his eyes, he was in a hospital bed. Flowers beside him had long dried. The halls were silent, the rooms abandoned. No doctors, no nurses, only bodies littering the corridors. At one door, a warning read, "Do not open, dead inside." Inside, walkers clawed and banged, smelling his blood. Terrified, Rick stumbled away, escaping through the fire exit into a world he no longer recognized. Streets filled with corpses, death everywhere. In the distance, he found a bicycle, but as he grabbed it, a mangled walker crawled toward him. Rick barely escaped, pedaling home, only to find his wife and son gone. The house was empty, his family missing. Shattered, Rick broke down. Moments later, he saw a man approach. Before he could react, a boy struck him with a shovel and a shot rang out. Another walker dead. The man introduced himself as Morgan. Suspicious at first, Morgan tied Rick up, asking if he was bitten. Rick swore he was only shot. Finally, Morgan cut him loose and explained the truth. The world had ended, the dead walked, and survival meant one rule: don't get bit. That night, Rick witnessed the horror himself. Through Morgan's window, walkers filled the street. Among them, Morgan's wife. His son Dwayne sobbed, but they could do nothing. By dawn, Rick knew his family was out there, somewhere. The next morning, Rick and Morgan went to the police station. For the first time in days, they showered and armed themselves. Rick prepared to head for Atlanta, where survivors were rumored to have gathered. Morgan stayed behind. Before leaving, Rick looked into the eyes of a fellow officer, now a walker, and put him down. Rick's gas finally ran out. Stranded on the empty road, he searched for help. He walked to a nearby house, hoping someone inside could spare fuel. He knocked on the door. No answer. Pushing inside, the silence told the story. The owners were already dead. They had taken their own lives. The weight of despair settled on Rick. But then, hope. In the yard stood a lone horse, still alive, waiting. Rick slowly approached, calming it, before climbing onto its back. With no gas, no car, and no choice, he rode the horse toward Atlanta. Rick finally reached Atlanta. In the distance, he spotted a helicopter flying between the buildings. Desperate for hope, he decided to follow it. Riding his horse through the city streets, he turned a corner, only to freeze in horror. The road was crawling with walkers, hundreds of them. They turned at once, groaning, snarling, chasing after him. Rick pushed the horse forward, but within seconds he was surrounded. The dead swarmed from every side. The horse panicked, reared, and was dragged down, torn apart in a frenzy of teeth and blood. Rick was thrown to the ground. Scrambling for his life, he crawled under a massive military tanker. But there was no escape. Walkers closed in from both ends. With his revolver shaking in his hand, Rick pressed the barrel to his own head. It seemed like the end. But then, he saw it, a hatch beneath the tanker. He forced it open and climbed inside. Inside, the darkness swallowed him. The air stank of death. Suddenly, a soldier's corpse slumped against him. Only it wasn't dead. It lunged. Rick fired, blasting its skull, but the sound rang like thunder inside the steel walls, leaving him dazed and disoriented. Outside, the gunshot drew even more walkers. They slammed against the tanker, clawing, moaning, trying to get in, trapped, alone, with the dead on every side. Rick had nowhere left to go.